It's a good life, you know.
Everything is working out very nicely. Do you have the cash? $20,000.
We have the cash. You don't have to talk to, hey. Look, we got the cash. We know cash moves everything around this motherfucker. Hold on. Let me ask you. I think you do know him because your fucking friend Don is down 120 pieces right now singing his fucking ass like a fucking bird. The fucking guy's coming.
Okay. Okay. Alright folks, so what I did was I basically just cut some little blocks each corner. I might just go ahead and tack them to the bottom of the frame rail and tack the pieces together and then tack them to the chassis table so nothing moves. You don't want any movement. Obviously someone touches the car and then it's gonna freaking wobble or something like that, come out of whack. But anyways, I think I might do that. It's easy just to cut the tacks off or whatever, take it all away. And the good thing is a lot of this end here is going to get cut off because it pokes into the wheel quite a bit, or at least it might. So I still need to actually check and see if that's going to be my problem, because if it is, then I'm going to need to add something to the table for it to sit on and cut those off. But for right now, not that big of a deal. Hopefully, like I said, we'll see once I actually get something on here. Anyways. So what I did was I went ahead and had this like 1.5 inch tubing that I was never going to use. I don't have a die to bend that size of tubing. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is, or what I did was I just kind of like notched them. Not the best, it's just a quick notch or whatever, and then just welded it. So that entire plate that those tubes are on is welded to the body already. Like that's permanently in there. It's not going nowhere, so that's going to support a lot of the back half when I do get a wheel up in here and start cutting things. I think I do have a little bit more, I believe, maybe. If not, I'll find something else. I don't want to use main material for doing this kind of stuff, because then I waste material basically. But I might do some more that kind of supports back here somewhere. It just depends. It's a lot of sheet metal. I need to kind of like go to the strong points of the car. So yeah, I'm gonna figure that out now, and then hopefully get a wheel mocked up on one side or the other, and then I'll trace everything out and then basically just start cutting and then I can get a wheel and tire on here and see where everything sits. So yeah, let's see how this goes.
2,000 years later.
Alright, so look at all that junk down there. Goodness.
Oh my goodness, oh my damn.
Rot, dirt, debris, all the debris.
Look at the debris. The debris.
Anyways, I obviously, when it comes to driving this thing, really need to address radiusing this more, obviously, because there's going to be no movement whatsoever, and you want movement. So gonna have to probably come into here, gonna have to come up, cut. Hopefully I don't have to come into the latch system, but that may be inevitable. If that's the case, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna have to either relocate this somewhere else, maybe like inside more, so like cut this out, redo all this, make this flat, and then I don't know, there's just going to be something that's going to have to happen. Actually, that probably won't work because the door can only go in so far, you can see. So what's probably going to happen is I'm probably going to just put the door on here and probably just weld it closed, which is unfortunate, but not that big of a deal. The car's not going to have any windows anyways, so you know, obviously I'll get rid of all the remaining glass and sharp edges, and you can just hop in through the window. Big deal. What else? Yeah, this is gonna have to come up quite a bit as well. I'm thinking travel wise, I'm gonna probably put like a short travel suspension on this car. It's heavy, but you know, it's gonna be low, so I'm thinking about right to almost to the top of the fin here, and then obviously this is probably where it will sit, but I am thinking short travel. Now depending on once I get structure back into here, as far as like attaching the body to the chassis, I may actually go all the way up. So I may just cut this entire section out here, and then we'll see how far it comes up into the C-pillar area here. So this will probably all need to get braced and everything like that. I need to stop saying like that anyways, but what I'm gonna do is get some sheet metal, and probably just bring it up and bring it to the radius of the wheel, and so like bring all the structure back in, up top, underneath, and then onto the sides out here, and then that'll be like all sheeted and everything. Now if you look, it would look funny obviously if you have like a weird hump that doesn't follow the body lines. So with that, I think with the wide body, I'm gonna probably go above that hump so that you don't ever see it. You're not gonna see the you're not gonna see any of this anyways, because it's gonna get covered with the wide body that I rendered. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot to do, a lot of finessing. I need to, obviously the wheel needs to sink in a lot more, but you can even see that whatever this piece is here is going to need to get cut out because it's pretty close to the wheel. So obviously if I squeeze the wheel in here more, it's going to definitely need to get cut out, which again removes a lot of structure from here. But the point of doing this right now is I can lift the subframe, bolt the wheel and tire on, and then I'll come to this side, do the same thing, cut radius, bolt the wheel and tire on, clearance these a little bit more on both sides, so I can go fore and aft, and then I can kind of get this situated, start building my mounts and attaching, and then I can start attaching a bunch of tubes back here, strengthen up the body. This way there's strength back in here, and then I can cut those little like strut braces off so the body doesn't drop, and then I can worry about doing that stuff once there's more structure back into the car. But for now, this is basically just to get the wheels and tires on, get the subframe to height, and then basically just go from there. But yeah, definitely need to go in quite a bit more. That's looking sick, looking real nice. But anyways, I'm gonna see if I can get one side on, probably put that on blocks, and then yeah, see if I can lift this one side, squeeze the wheel in some more, see if I can get it bolted on, and should be cherry for this side for now. And then, like I said, I'll jump to that side and start cutting.
Then, one night, the Shogun sent his ninja spies to our house. They were supposed to kill my father, but they didn't. That was the night everything changed.
Sometimes we gotta flash them back. See, niggas don't know where this shit started. Y'all know where it came from. I'm saying we're gonna take y'all back to the source, the knowledge. Yo,
When the MCs came to live out their names and to perform, some had to snort cocaine to act insane. With the poor heat rocking on, now on the mental plane, the spark the brain, with the building to be born. Build rhythm to the track, the what you got. Sick of it, fake niggas get flipped in mic fights. I swing swords and cut clown. Shit is too swift to bite, you record and write it down. I flow like the blood on a murder scene, like a syringe on some wild out shit to insert a vein. But it was your art, the shop, stolen art, catch a swollen heart.
Alright, so I got this side all cut up. Not too bad, same as the other side. The one thing I'm gonna have to do, I kind of started doing it, but I put some blocks under this. Not the best way to do that, but it's kind of hard to lift this thing and then try to get the wheels on. So I'm going to figure out how to actually lift this thing up some and then bolt the wheels on. This way I can get everything like centered and straight, and make sure like my flange is, you know, set up right. So I'll still probably have to make the like bracket for that, but that's no big deal. What else? That's basically it for there. Probably gonna have to radius just a little bit more, just so I can move it forward and backwards. This way I can get everything all centered and set up. The one thing that I am noticing is I want the wheels to poke out about yay much on both sides. So the offset of these wheels, if you can kind of like tell, like look at how much distance there is to mount to the hub there. Same thing on that side, I believe. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna just, for now, just run some spacers, probably 2-inch spacers each side, just to push these out exactly where I want it, so that I know exactly where it's supposed to be. And then what else? Once I can get all this set up and everything is good with its, you know, fore and aft and like tilt and everything, then I can, you know, halt this in its place so it doesn't move at all. So I'll throw some bricks or something under here so that it doesn't move, and then I can start setting up my mounting points. So then I'll go same thing like I did on the S12, where I have these little bases and then I put studs through them, welded the bolt through, welded the stud, whatever, and then have some tubes come up. And I'm not going to exactly replicate the S12 where it was like the big X. I'm going to do something a little different with this one, just because I don't want to have two cars the same, if that makes sense. And it'll be very, very easy to attach this thing. I already have this point set up, so this is like one of the main things going to the main rails. So with this tilted up and a little bit higher, it'll have kind of like a drastic drop if I go down from these. Or what I could do is I could do something that's going to come up from this and tie into the roll bar back here, which I still need to create a cross section so that I can put the roll bar in, like the main hoop is what I mean. And then I can kind of go and attach things there, and then attach the rear end from there to there, and then it'll be super easy to go from there to there. So this is a main tie-in to the back end here. That plate, those tubes going up there are temporary. Those are just to hold the body. But that is a main section there. So like I said, it'll tie the suspension into that, and then figure out the rest of the cage back here, the chassis. How I'm going to mount the quarter panels, I still got to figure that out. I don't necessarily want to run a tube, like now that I look at it, I don't want to run a tube like how I was going across, because that could potentially, like parallel with the quarter panel, that could potentially run into the tire, because I am going to need to cut a lot more out, and it's gonna need to come all the way up to the fin. I'm guaranteeing. If this is gonna be ride height, that's where it's got to be, which is what it is. Not too big of a deal. What else? Yeah, so I don't want to run a tube that's going to go parallel in here with the quarter panel. So I will probably do one, but it'll be obviously once everything's mounted and then inside of the wheels rather than over the wheels, if that makes sense. And then I can kind of attach my quarter panels in the corners, probably back here somewhere where the wheel isn't going to interfere. I definitely got to attach something to these C-pillars back here, just because, yeah, I'm going to try to get this thing as structurally sound as possible. Probably do something back here as well on the roof, maybe like a big gusset panel or something, just to weld to it. But yeah, I mean, you can see just like how close that is. There's no travel if I don't cut all that stuff out, which would mean that I would have to have the body a lot higher, and I don't want to do that. The point is to make it super slammed, as low to the ground as possible, while still being drivable. So yeah, I'm going to probably find some spacers. I have some laying around. I have these ones, so those are 5x4.5. Those will work for one side. I need to find 2 more of those. That's about 2 inches right there. So I need to find 2 more of those so that I can get this rear end kind of jacked up and then everything mounted, and then kind of start making my, well, get my measurements, steady the rear end, and then kind of start making my attachments. So the attachments and everything will probably come this week, but not too bad. Okay, so got the wheels on. They are bolted on. I need to see how flat the subframe is. Obviously, what would that be? My y-axis? Yeah, I need to check my y-axis, and then obviously I can check my x-axis and everything like that. I am definitely going to need to get different offset wheels. These aren't the wheels for this car. Size-wise and tires, these are the wheels. Wheels and tires. Just obviously offset needs to be so like completely different. And the reason for that being is, so these are sunken in a shitload, and in order for the wide body to work, they need to poke out a lot more. So you can tell that's with it bolted on. Of course, I still need to shift the rear end either to the passenger side or to the driver's side. Right now I think it's fairly close. Maybe not. I can't tell because of the door. I haven't cut the door yet, so it doesn't close quite right just yet. But the thing is yeah, for the wide body to work, these obviously need to poke out a lot more. One thing I could do for as like a cheap deal right now is just run spacers to poke the wheels out quite a bit. They would have to come out like quite significantly, like I said. Shoot, I don't even know. Probably definitely a good like 3 inches or so, maybe 4 inches. Fine, we'll figure that out later. But yeah, so the wheels definitely need to go out, which tells me that this subframe was just about the length, the length of the 9-inch that was in here. Obviously, if I ran like, you know, puny wheels and tires, they'd probably fit no problem and still have, you know, the independent rear and everything like that. Yeah, this thing's getting a little beat up. Oh well. But yeah, so definitely need to get those spaced out eventually. But for now, what this is doing is this is getting kind of like everything in place. So I put my little bottle jacks there to kind of tilt it, which is good because then I don't need to build the little like mount here. All I need to check is if everything is, you know, square on the subframe, because everything is pretty in line with this. So check if everything's square on the subframe, you know, tilt, everything like that. Check it, and then what this means, once it's centered in the car, what I can do is basically start making my mounting points for everything, and then I can get this thing kind of somewhat permanently mounted in here. Then I can work on the wheel and tire situation later. But for now, this basically helps me get everything ready to kind of temporarily mount this thing. I think one of the things I'm going to do is do the roll bar, the main hoop. So I'll put this thing up in here. I need to get rid of all this mess. I need to take all this off, because the way that the main hoop, it comes up to the body, I had it come up extremely tight, so you can even see like where I kind of had to notch a little bit, both sides. That's how close it is, which is a good thing, because what I'm going to do is probably weld that section of tube that kind of rides right here. I'm going to weld that together to the car. Everything's going to just get welded to the car. I have no reason to take the body off. I'm going to make panels that make everything, you know, kind of easy to work on. So like, we're gonna have 2 seats back here somewhere, so I'll have like some sort of weird panel coming up. It'll cover all this, but there'll be kind of like some access panels to where I can get to everything. Like if I need to service, I don't know, for some reason, if I need to tighten these bolts or service the bearing that's in here, if I need to get to any of this stuff up here, because it is going to be kind of tricky once everything's all said and done. But my point being is everything's going to kind of have little like access panels to get to. And of course, if I really need to, the rear end can just drop out the whole thing and then just kind of slide back out of the car or whatever. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, is get my main hoop centered up, get it mounted up to these plates. So I'm going to need to cut a tube that's probably going to come across, so from here to here, and then what I can do is use that as a base point, because what I need to do now is find 2 points on the rear subframe that are the same and have them be the same like width apart from basically from the body, because it's going to get centered in the body basically, which is the chassis at this point. So I got to center these out with a width point, so here or wherever's static on the body. So I got to get that figured out, width wise, length wise, and then kind of like in an X pattern wise, like a diagonal. So yeah, that's one of the things I got to do. Gonna be a little bit time consuming, but the good thing is I can roll this kind of like forward and back a little bit to kind of get it centered where I need it. So yeah, definitely some big progress about to come down. I'll probably tomorrow or the next day start getting my reference points on the body, and then like I said, I'll do the main hoop deal, get that in, and then that'll be another reference point there for because if I can square it up in the center of this, these B pillars are exactly the same on both sides. So if I could center that up and use the main hoop as kind of like a, you know, just a base point for where this thing needs to be, then I should be good. So yeah, I think that's about it for this one. I didn't actually film us kind of getting this lifted and putting everything up. You can see, watch, let me show you. I put the jack up here, and that's what I was jacking it up with. So kind of cool that it was the length of that or whatever, but a little sketchy, a little balancing act, but got that all squared away. I didn't film me actually doing that. I was more concerned about, because my grandpa was helping me, so I was more concerned about him being able to kind of lift up the wheels and kind of like push them onto the subframe. So I was sitting there like balancing the subframe and then twisting the axles so that he can get the bolt pattern lined up with the wheel and tire. So that wasn't too bad. I just didn't film it. But that's basically how I did it. Was just jacked it up from the table, and then like I said, I spun the axles. My grandpa kind of like pushed everything in, and now this gives me the base point of where I need to go. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for this one. And like I said, tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to jump on probably mounting up the roll bar. So temporarily, going to notch it, going to put another tube in, which is good because like I said, that'll give me a base, like reference point or whatever. And then I can start getting all my measurements, reference points, and then start making my mounts that are gonna house the studs so that I can remove everything. And yeah, then we can start building a freaking tube chassis in the back end and start getting everything mounted. So I'm stoked about that. So yeah, thanks for sticking around in this one. Hopefully it's not as long as the other one. I don't know, maybe you guys like longer videos. Some people do, some people don't. Some people just get distracted, or you know, is what it is. Completely understand. I do the same thing. But anyways, thanks dudes, I appreciate it. Take care, peace, bye. Peace, love, and chicken grease.